Hi everyone, so here's the video that I promised to show how to make a very simple slideshow into a shareable Pear Deck. So right now I'm in a blank Google Slides presentation. I'm going to name it. I always like to start by naming my work. I'm going to call it multiplication lesson, and I'm using the jump math for the grade 3s. Just so I had something in between. Multiplication, yes. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to import the slides from the jump math. So I'm going to go to File, Import Slides, and then I'm going to select a file from my device, which in this case I'm doing, division and addition. And I'm going to just double check that that's the file that I want. Yeah, that's the one that I want. So I double click it. In a second, each one of the separate slides from that original PowerPoint is going to show up here, and I can select to insert some of them or all of them. And I just like to select all of them, insert them all, and then delete them all, delete the ones I don't want later. So I'm clicking select slides all, I'm clicking import slide, and my PowerPoint, or my Google Slides rather, will now have this original blank page, which I didn't change, plus all of those other slides that are in the same order that the original PowerPoint was in. If I come up to a slide that I don't want, I just delete it. So this is telling me what the expectation is. I don't need this for my students, so I'm going to click on the slide. You can either right-click on it and click delete, or you can just press delete on your keyboard. And again, I'm not doing a mental math minute, so I'll delete that one. But I do like this slide. I'm going to use this one. We want to share 12 items into 4 groups with 3 items in each group. And I would like to have my students color in and do something with it. So I'm going to create a Pear Deck interactive slide here so that my kids will have access to the drawing and typing tools that I want them to have. So how do I do that? I have to enable the Pear Deck add-on in order to be able to access that. So I'm going up to Add-ons, and I'm clicking on Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on and Open Pear Deck add-on. Now you need to have installed this, so you need to have gone to peardeck.com, created a pro account with your TDSB email, and then you'd have the access to this, and it will be included in yours, in your Google Slides. So now I have over here at the side, you can see that the Pear Deck add-on has opened up. I don't need a lot of these things. I'm going to keep it very simple, and I'm only going to use this tool right here, the Draw tool. When I click on the Draw tool, what will happen is this slide will not change in any way, except that when my students look at it, when I share this lesson with them, they'll have access to the tools to draw on it, and then they can do the work. So I click on Draw. It does a little bit of thinking. The little pear will give me a little dance. And then what you'll notice is that at the bottom of the slide, a gray bar has been added, and our pear has got a little easel and a paintbrush, and it shows that that's a drawing slide. It also down here in your notes will also tell you, this is a Pear Deck drawing slide. To edit the type of question, go back to ask students a question in the Pear Deck sidebar. That means over here. So that means if you wanted to change the kind of question, I encourage you to play around with these because they're kind of fun too. But the draw one is your basic tool. This is the one that you want. Now I may want to change my instructions a little bit on here. We want to share 12 items into 4 groups with 3 items in each group. I probably need to tell my students to actually take the drawing tool and draw on here. So I'm going to continue the instructions. If you click inside the text box, it's fully editable. And I'm going to say, use the drawing tools to draw 3 items in each group. There we go. Now I've added it on. My text box is a little too small. It really doesn't matter. If I want to fix it, I can do that. And if you want to add anything else on here, you can. So if you want to put a little picture on it, anything, it's fully editable. But I know that this is now a drawing slide for my students so that when they interact with it, they'll be able to draw these things in. And it's as simple as that. So I'm happy with that slide. I'm going to go to my next slide. Well, this one is a description. This one isn't really telling me anything to do on it. It's a lesson slide when it's giving information to students. If you want them to do something with it, you certainly can ask them to, but this is really just there for information, so I'm going to leave it. I'm not going to add any Pear Deck interactivity to it. So let's go to the next one. Again, if I want to change it though, I can. If I have anything I want to add to it, of course I can do that. Now it says, let's draw a picture to show this division sentence. 15 divided by 3 equals 5. You can decide, do you want to give them more information than that? Do you think that's enough information for them to do it? If you're happy with it, again, just go click draw, and this slide will become one that the students can draw on, but they can also type an equation on. But here you want them to draw the picture, so they're going to do that. Now, obviously, if someone's using a device that has a pen, like an interactive pen, or they can use their finger, it will be easier for them to use these tools than if they're using a mouse, but it is still doable with a mouse. Okay, so I'm happy with that slide. Now I go to my next one. Write a division sentence for the picture. Okay, so again, I'm going to want them, so I'm going to tell them here, instead of trying to write it out with a pencil, I don't need the word exercises. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take out the 1. And I'm going to ask them, use the text tool. And you can even take a little picture of the text tool and insert that if you want to. That way they know that even though this is going to be a drawing slide, which I'm about to click over here to make it drawing, there is on the drawing, in the drawing tools, there is a T. And that T means they can click somewhere and type. And that'll look a lot better. If you're writing a division sentence, you don't want to write it out with your pencil. And that's it. So now I'm going to go to my next slide and see if I'm happy with that. If this one says, oh, the answer is here, draw a picture, perfect, I'll make it a drawing slide. If I'm worried that there's too much on the page and I don't want them to do 3 different drawings, then I can just get rid of one of them. So I'm just adapting the slideshow to work for me. If I want to add in a line to separate the two parts of the slide, I can do that. This part is totally in your control because it's just a slideshow like any other. You haven't changed the original because you imported it. So your original will not be affected, and the only thing that will be changed will be this particular version of it, which makes sense because it's being changed for this particular situation. So I've made some changes, but if you notice, there's no gray bar at the bottom, so it's not a drawing slide yet. First, I have to click the word draw. Now it will become a drawing slide. It does this little dance each and every time. There is a shortcut, by the way. I can show that to you another time. And that's it. I'm basically going to go through each one. If I don't want the hint, I take out the hint. You get the idea. So again, I want it to be a drawing slide, so I click draw. And I'm going to just keep going through each one. I'm not going to put a lot of thought into them. Actually, you know what? This whole thing is just too long. So maybe I'm happy ending my lesson here. Maybe tomorrow I'll pick up where the rest of this goes on. So I don't need all of this. This is too much for grade 3s to sit and do all at once. I'm going to go through and delete and delete and delete all the extra slides. Then when I look over here, I can see, maybe I'll make a little title slide here. So welcome to your multiplication lesson. And you can make it cute. I put in some graphics. You can change your fonts and make it fun. You get the idea. They don't need to put their names on them because when you get their reply, their name will be already there because they're putting it in through Pear Deck. Okay, so I've made my slideshow. Now how do I go about sharing it with my students? So to share it with my students, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start my lesson, which is actually creating a session. But I'm going to stop the video here. I'm going to make a second video so that you can separate them out so that you have not too much all in one spot. So I'll see you in part 2.